I don't want my family exposed to it. I don't want anybody else to have to be exposed to it.
Now at 6, Clark County parents are on high alert. With 22 confirmed cases of measles, some families are taking action to protect their kids. It's now month 2 of the government shutdown, and federal workers are struggling to make ends meet.
Just let your 800,000 government workers be able to just turn the lights on and feed their kids.
There's no end in sight as Democrats reject any deal that includes funding a border wall. Plus, piles of plastic. Pollution is wreaking havoc on Oregon's beaches. Also, fire and ice. Crews battle this blaze in below freezing temperatures. This morning, millions of Americans from the Midwest to New England are struggling through a massive winter storm. The 6 o'clock hour of KGW News at Sunrise starts right now.
And we start with this live look downtown Portland on this Tuesday, January 22nd. I know it's the first day of the work week for many of you. Just getting up this hour, we say good morning and thanks for joining us here on the Sunrise Show.
Yeah, we want to start with a check on the forecast with Rod Hill. You got your little paper
out.
Yeah,
I got to read, so I got to put my glasses on. Here we go. Let's start off with what's simple, the bus stop weather. Right now, dry at your place. If you live inland, we have some rain at the beach, but the rain will be moving into Portland-Salem in that 8 o'clock hour, about 40 degrees. Really wet through the lunchtime recess, so the kids need to be in their rain gear. And then later today, it's fairly dry. Here's why I put my glasses on. A couple things to point out real quick. Coastal flood advisory. This is this afternoon, especially Fraser Road in Tillamook County. The high tide, about 10 feet. Produce some high water problems. And then a high wind watch in parts of the gorge. This is for overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Places like Goldendale, you could see some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. More on your weather coming up.
All right, thank you, Rod. We do start this hour with a traffic alert on Southwest Hillsborough Highway. A 21-year-old man died after this single-car crash. It happened in Washington County around 12:30 this morning. Investigators say the driver was likely speeding. Right now, Southwest Hillsborough Highway is closed between Wood Street and Tongue Lane. Crews expect to reopen the road about 7 o'clock. And let's take a look at some of the other places here in the metro area where traffic may be an issue. You're looking live traffic heading into Portland on I-5 at Mill Plain. Yeah, things are starting to get a little congested. We can also show you one more traffic camera this morning. That is Sunset Highway heading into town at the Jefferson exit. That is pretty wide open. But if things change, and you know they will throughout the next hour, we will bring you an update on your commute.
It is 6:02 now. The measles outbreak is spreading in Clark County as hundreds of students return to school this morning from the long holiday weekend. There are now 22 confirmed cases of the virus, with 12 schools among possible exposure sites. 4 of those schools are in the Evergreen School District. The district is now taking extra precautions and asking anyone who may have been exposed to the measles not to show up to any school events like performances or games unless you can prove that you've been vaccinated or are immune. Now, in total, there are 35 sites around Clark County where people could have been exposed. Take a look here. Some new spots were announced yesterday. They include Orchards Elementary School on January 14th, the Dollar Tree on Northeast 76th the evening of January 15th, and Memorial Urgent Care this past Saturday afternoon. We know there's a lot of information to this story, so if you go to kgw.com, we have a list of all exposure sites and specific times infected people may have visited. Now, we're also tracking the latest on this outbreak throughout the morning right here on Sunrise. Coming up in our next half an hour, our Tim Gordon will join us with a live report from one of the schools impacted.
The time now is 6:03. The government shutdown is now in day 32, and Republicans are presenting a new deal to reopen the government. So this 1,000-page proposal is based on President Trump's latest offer. It includes temporary protection for DACA recipients and refugees in exchange for border wall funding. Republicans need 7 Democrats to pass the bill, but many have already rejected it. And while all of that plays out, thousands of federal employees continue to go without a paycheck. Some workers, in fact, aren't even showing up right now. TSA says unscheduled absences hit a record high last Sunday, with 10% of their workers calling in sick. The FBI will also speak to the media later today about how the shutdown is affecting FBI agents.
Well, as the shutdown drags on, a lot of people are finding themselves in a really tough spot. We talked to one federal employee who got her last paycheck 3 weeks ago. Can you imagine? She is getting very close to using up the last of her savings.
Christine Pitawanich is covering this story for this morning. She's live in our studio. Christine, a local credit union is trying to help that woman out.
Yeah, good morning, Drew. Brenda, Unitas Credit Union says about 1,000 of its members are being affected by the government shutdown. And with a whole lot of people living paycheck to paycheck, Unitas has decided to help. The credit union, along with other local credit unions, waiving late fees, offering low-interest loans, and delaying payments for people, among other things. They said anyone can call them up and they'll work with them to come up with a plan until the government shutdown is over. We spoke with one woman over the phone who says she thinks she'll be okay. That is, until she hits the end of the month when she could run out of money.
I'm just really hoping that there'll be a resolution soon, but I just feel like it'll drag on longer than we ever thought it would.
This is now the stage where it's really, they're having to make some decisions on which bills to pay, how they're going to feed their family, how they're going to get their kids to daycare.
Hard stuff. The federal worker we spoke with over the phone says she has not been working for nearly a month now. She says, like many of her coworkers, she's applying for unemployment and starting to look for a whole new job. Back to you.
Thanks, Christine.
This is a gruesome, brutal murder scene. And, you know, sometimes our eyes see things that our hearts can't handle. And I think that that is kind of what happened here to a lot of people.
Investigators are still reeling from the horrific scene they encountered over the weekend near Woodburn, where 4 people, including an infant, were murdered. Some are calling it the worst case they've ever seen. And a handful of the deputies who responded to that crime scene are now on leave while they get the support they need.
Yeah, meanwhile, investigators are trying to figure out a motive. They believe 42-year-old Mark Gago killed his mother, stepfather, girlfriend, and 9-month-old child in the home where they all lived. Another woman at the house said she woke up as Gago attacked her, but she was able to fight him off and get out for help. Deputies shot and killed Gago as they say he tried to attack an 8-year-old in the house. That child survived. Investigators say right now they're trying to figure out why Gago did this.
Investigators will dig into his background, try to, place him in where he was at the past 24, 48 hours, just kind of get try to grasp the frame of mind that he was in.
We've also learned that dispatchers got a call from someone inside the house that night.
It is 6:07 this morning. The Blazers snapped the Utah Jazz winning streak with a huge win last night. The team hit 50% of the shots they took, with Damian Lillard and Jusuf Nurkic leading the way. Utah was up at the end of the second quarter, but the Blazers turned it around in the third and sealed the deal in the fourth. Check out that dunk from Jake Layman. Blazers win it 109-104. They continue their road trip, playing in Oklahoma City tonight.
Our resident expert, if you will, on the Blazers during the show is Camera Jay, the man who roves through our studio oftentimes with a camera, and he'll tell me every night, or every morning, this is how they did last night. And he said last night's game may have been the best the team played all season. So there you go. That's your Blazers update.
Got my Blazer red.
I mean,
coincidentally.
I'm sure.
It's kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's wide open this year. I mean, you have the Warriors, but no one's just really saying we're the dominant king this year.
Right, we don't have like an all-time team out there.
Maybe we get a playoff run.
Yeah.